तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to Manah Shiksha series. Yesterday we had been discussing Bhakti Gyan Goswami's commentary, and we had come to the discussion on the concept of rasa and bhav. But I'll just summarize up till now where we are in the discussion. Maharaj begins his essay on Manah Shiksha verse 3 with how we should develop attachment. Maya Sakta Manapar, that's the goal. And Raghunath Das Goswami mentions about two desires here. Yadicheravasam saragam. Yadicheravasam bhuvi. If you want to reside in Vrindavan with spontaneous love and worship the divine couple, if you have this abhilasha, then what? Swarupam Shri Rupam Sahagana Tasya Agrajam. And Maharaj goes into very deep question as to why not Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and why Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami and so on. Because they are giving us the experience of rasa. They are giving us the experience of rasa. So he went into the whole science of spiritual emotions, rasa. And Maharaj himself gave the example of how the holy name transforms, how it transforms, about a Mataji who just was following the Rath Yatra and chanting, and immediately went to the temple, came out with sari and beadbacks. And this was the theme where yesterday we discussed how the moment Rupa Goswami became Rupa Goswami, because he understood the bhava of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Rath Yatra pastime. So yesterday we discussed this whole theme, and then it is Rupa Goswami who has given us the science of rasa. And this is contribution. It's not only in the Natya Shastras, in dramas, but actually it is in Krishna Leela, the rasa. In fact, without the lens of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, You cannot penetrate into the Bhagavatam about the whole, reciprocations of love which are happening between Krishna and his devotees, right from the first canto till especially the 10th canto. So if you want to go deeper into the spiritual emotions, what the Lord is feeling in relationship with his devotee and what the devotee is experiencing uh, in relationship with the Lord, you have to study the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and see the Bhagavatam through the lens of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Maharaj spoke about these two fundamental concepts of Bhava and Rasa. And yesterday I felt the need that we should discuss this, science of Rasa or the concept of Rasa. And I am presenting this from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Prem Pradeep and Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion. So we will go through this. This is not part of Maharaj essay, but I'm explaining the concepts of Bhava and Rasa so that we can further understand what Maharaj is trying to explain in the essay. So yesterday we briefly touched upon it, and now we'll continue this discussion. We'll get acclimatized with the terminologies of what is Bhava, Rasa, and all. So I'm just going to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's essay in Prem Pradeep. In the Nectar of Devotion, the word Rasa is understood by different persons differently. The English dictionary includes the meaning sap, syrup, juice, and sentiment expressed or flavor contained in a writing. So Rasa has different imports and meanings. And according to English dictionary, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying it means sap. Sap means the juice, syrup. Oh, mango ras, you say, mango juice. There is some emotions you experience. And the emotions the poets express in their songs, in their poetry, there is some flavor in it. It's more subtle here. This is more gross. But scholars don't call the rasa of the tree rasa, but they explain a mandal rasa which is superior to the rasa of an ordinary tree. So this is rasa at a mundane platform. But there is a superior rasa which is there in the relationship in this world, in Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, and Vatsalya, Dasya also. But this rasa is coming from the bhav, emotions of the mind. It's a mental rasa. Please remember that. In the same way, spiritualists also don't call the rasa of the material body and the mind rasa, but the rasa which is naturally inherent in the soul is called rasa. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning that the real rasa is the reciprocations of the soul in relation to the supreme soul. That is real rasa, according to spiritualists. We sometimes refer to rasa as date or sugarcane juice or the byproducts like wood, sugar, and rock candy. And we sometimes refer to rasa as the relationship between the hero and heroine in this world. But actually, we know that real rasa is the relationship between our souls and the soul of all souls, Sri Krishna. So this is real rasa. This is mental rasa. This is mundane rasa in one sense. Now, yesterday I explained the difference between bhava and rasa, which I am sure you're clear. Many bhavas unitedly give rise to rasa. And rasata is attained when bhavas combine together. And among all the bhavas, that which is prominent is called as a stahi bhav. The other bhavas are vibhav, anubhav, and sanchari bhav. So bhava, with the support of all these three, then transforms into rasa. And yesterday we saw this example of halwa ras, how these different ingredients combine together to give rise to rasa in the form of halwa. And the prominent ingredient here is sugar. And then we saw this stahi bhav has to be there, and stahi bhav, when it combines with anubhav, vibhav, sanchari bhav, and sometimes satviki bhav, then it gives rise to rasa. In fact, it is not necessary that there has to be satvika bhavs. That's why even these three bhavas together can give rise to rasa, because satviki bhavas are involuntary, whereas these other are voluntary, especially the Anubhava is voluntary. Vibhav is what stimulates the Stahi Bhav. So I hope you are clear with these terminologies. What is Stahi Bhav, what is Vibhav, what is Anubhav, and what is Sanchari Bhav and Satruti Bhav. Yesterday I gave these definitions. I mentioned how Vibhav has this two components, Alamban and Udipan. Alamban is support. For love, there has to be two, Vishay and Ashray. Udipan are related with the Vishay, which stimulate. They are spiritual sense objects. They are spiritual sense objects which agitate. The gopis seeing the flute, they get agitated. Their conjugal love gets agitated. Krishna's mother, her Vatsalya Bhav gets agitated seeing the sunset happening. So that is Uddipans. So we saw these examples of Uddipan yesterday in the Sakyaras, Vatsalya, and the Madhuryaras. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned about these three types of rasa, worldly rasa, heavenly rasa, and spiritual rasa. So both these two are material. And this is a little more on the mental platform in form of poetic expressions, writings, dramas, especially drama, Natya Shastra, these are all heavenly rasas. The sugarcane juice, the mango juice, the alcohol juice is all worldly rasa. But spiritual rasa is completely on the transcendental platform of the soul, relishing rasa with the Supreme Soul. Now let us go a little more deeper into this. When referring to worldly rasa, four types of bhavas are observed: Stahi bhav, Vibhav, Anubhav, and Sanchari bhav. Yesterday I gave the definitions. So even in worldly rasa, there has to be a Vibhav, Anubhava, and Sanchari bhav. And they all combine together and give rise to rasa. Okay. Let's use the example of Parthiva rasa. Parthiva means earthly, belongs to earth, Prithvi, Parthiva, mundane rasa. A few bhavas appear on seeing a sweet delicacy. So, moment you see a sweet delicacy, that sweet delicacy is what? Among these four components, Vibhava, Anubhava, Sanchari bhava. That sweet delicacy is what? Who will answer this? I know you are very new to the concept of rasa, but still I want you to try. What is the sweet delicacy among these components? Stahi bhav, Vibhav, Anubhav, Sanchari bhav. What is it? Who will answer this? Okay, I understand. It's a little difficult. So, one has natural taste or relish for sweet items. So, that is his Stahi bhav. And the sweet delicacy one he sees, it is Vibhav. Somebody is addicted to eating pungent food, spicy food. Moment he sees paneer chili masala, paneer butter chili masala, moment he sees, wow, he says, wow, so that emotion what he expresses, seeing the object, that is Vibhav. And he has natural Stahi bhav towards, eating spicy items. So a few bhavas appear on seeing the sweet delicacy. So understand what is happening internally in the emotions in the heart. First, the rati, attachment for the sweet rasa is called Stahi bhav. I explained this. There is a natural attraction for sweet rasa, that is the Stahi bhav. The object of that rati is Vibhav. So that object is Vibhav. Now, I explained yesterday and today just briefly explained that Vibhav has two components, the Vishaya and Ashraya. The Vishaya is the sweet object, you have seen it. Now, what is the Ashraya? There has to be Ashraya, there has to be two. When there is loving reciprocation, there has to be two. The object, Vishaya, is the sweet delicacy you have seen, which is the Vishaya. Which is the Vishay? Ashray, sorry. Which is the Ashray? Who will answer this? Which is the Ashray? Virendra Yadav, yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, it is the individual who is seeing.
Individual, but exactly where is that object situated? Like, Mother Yashoda has abode of love in her heart, that is the soul. And Krishna is the supreme soul, and she sees him as her son, that is the Vishay. So there is the soul's rasa with the supreme soul in Vatsalya Ras. So similarly, the sweet delicacy is a material item made of earthly element. It is matter. And where is the location point of the ashray? Where is the location point?
I think, bro, it is tongue.
Yes, exactly. It is tongue. It is the tongue. It is the tongue. There are two types of objects as ashray, shelter and vishay, the subject. That which has attachment for the sweet, the human tongue is the ashray, the shelter. And that towards which the attachment rushes, the good, is the vishay or the subject. So imagine how mundane rasa is versing. So there is this, only there is the senses and sense object contact which is happening. It is mundane rasa. That's why yahi samsparsha jab hoga, dukha yona yoga. Now, this is worldly rasa we are discussing. Let's come to that mental rasa. Man has attraction to women. So there is the attraction, conjugal attraction. So the Vishay, who is the Vishay? Let us understand this. Who is the Vishay? Or the object? Who is the object? It's quite simple. Devotee should answer. What about others? Yes, Virendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. For the man, it is woman and vice versa.
Yes. Okay. Now, where is the ashray? Yeah.
Ashraya is there in the individual's mind.
Yes, exactly. It is only in the mind. That's it. It has nothing to do with the soul. Please remember this. All the qualities of temptation which exist in the Vishay are Uddipan. So I told you now, Uddipan is what? Uddipan are that which excite, which cause excitement in the Vibhav, in the Vishay. They call it excitement. So there is paneer chili masala prepared, but you will have liking for spicy items. It is very, very hot. It is steaming hot. So that steaming hot paneer chili masala which is there, when it comes, you become more excited. And on top of that, there is ghee and butter which is poured on it. Then it becomes more, you more get agitated. Yes, you get more agitated. So you have natural liking for samosa, and the samosa is being deep fried. It's crispy, and you can feel the hot samosas which have come out, and that steam coming out makes you more excited, and you just rush towards it. So some of the temptations which are there in the Vishay are Uddipan. I hope it is clear. When attachment is awakened for the sweet, and whatever symptoms are manifest are called Anubhav. So when this attachment, because of these Uddipans are there, suddenly you express emotion. Wow, today in the feast there is paneer chili masala. So this emotion, what you're expressing, this is the expression which is voluntary, and that is why it is Anubhav. It is Anubhav. I remember one friend of mine, every day morning the Mangalarti used to come. Then he got married. For many years he was not coming, and then again he started coming. So his kid was there, small kid. I gave her an apple, and moment I gave the apple, she just started dancing up. She was flying in the sky, she, up and down. I said, what happened to her? And he told me that she likes very much apples. So moment she got the apple, she started jumping ups and down. So these are that, symptoms which manifest on, when the attachment to that object is, gets So this is voluntary actions are the anubhavas. Now, in order to nourish that attachment, feelings such as joy are called sanchari bhavas. So sometimes, suddenly devotees might, oh, today there is a feast, and they start maybe dancing. So these emotions, transient emotions, which suddenly rise, you know, and you start dancing, these are sanchari bhavas. Anubhav is the little voluntary emotion which is expressed, but sanchari bhavas are excited, you start jumping and dancing, as I was mentioning about that small girl. These are sanchari bhavas, which, feelings of joy, and you start expressing excitement. Actually, in the Kirtan, Hare Krishna Kirtan, where do you experience sanchari bhavas? In the Hare Krishna Kirtan, if you're doing Kirtan and the Kirtan is going on, what exactly are the sanchari bhavas there? What can be the sanchari bhavas? Anyone? So again, Birendra Yadav, I would like to ask Tirthpal Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhuji, it's mind.
Oh, that is not mine. Sanchari bhavas. Anyone else? Vishay, there is Krishna. Ashraya, we don't have that transcendental platform, but still we are experiencing certain emotions, and they are, coming from the soul in one sense. Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, that feeling of joy.
Yeah, but with that feeling of joy in the heart, what are you doing?
We may, we may have an emotion coming out of our rear eyes,
Yeah, what does that manifest?
ears.
Okay, actually, the anubhavas are when you raise your hands in the kirtan. These are anubhavas.
Okay.
And sanchari bhavas are you start dancing up high in the air. So much is the excitement of the kirtan that you just start dancing up high in the air. So this is a little difference in the anubhavas. Anubhavas is just raise your hands, expressing that emotions which are there. But sanchari bhavas are like transient emotions which like rise in the waves. And with the kirtan getting excited, you just start jumping up and down, up and down. So they are like the sanchari bhavas. Okay. When the attachment for seeds becomes palatable by support of these bhavas, that is sweet rasa. So with all these bhavas, vibhav, uddipan, anubhava, and sanchari bhavas, and when you taste, the vishay comes in contact with the ashray, there is rasa which is happening. Now, this is an exercise. Please look at this picture very carefully. And I will ask devotees, you all can raise your hands. Tell me, this is the kid, and he has, attraction for especially biscuits. He has attraction for biscuits. So one questions I'll ask. Now, what is the stahi bhav here? What is the stahi bhav? I've in fact hinted it all already to you all, but I want to know from you. Varsha Mataji, what is the stahi bhav?
Sahib, about biscuits, na Prabhuji?
Yes, exactly. The stahi bhav is he has natural spontaneous attraction towards that rasa is for biscuits. Okay, excellent. Now, what is the Vishaya? Vishaya. Lakshmi Narasimhan Prabhuji.
So Vishaya would be the biscuits, Prabhuji, the object.
Yes. What is the Ashraya?
Ashraya is the shelter, the source. The child would be the Ashraya.
The child's, where is the Ashraya located?
Oh, tongue.
Tongue. His tongue has natural taste for biscuits. Okay. Now, actually here, the temptations in the biscuit in this picture, it is not there, but what can be the temptations? What can be the uddipans? What can it be? Which will more excite him? Shaila Sattam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanat Prabhu.
What can be the temptation?
He's feeling Anubhava by raising hand.
No, I'm not asking about Anubhavas right now. I'm not asking about Anubhavas. What can be the uddipans within the vibhav? What can be the uddipans, temptations, which can give rise to some emotions in him? What can be the temptations in the biscuit? That is the Vishaya, but what can be the temptations? It's not there in the picture here. What can be? Huh?
The sweetness.
Sweet, it is biscuit is sweet, yes. What so this biscuit, what if you what additional things can be there on it which will tempt him more towards the biscuits? There's general biscuit, but there can be some special biscuits. What can be the temptations more if it is there?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I understand. Yes, Tirtha Prabhu had raised his hand. Yes.
Prabhuji, some toppings, cream.
Yes. There are already biscuits. They smell very crispy. And there is toppings. There is a cream layer and there is a chocolate layer. Of course, we don't take chocolate, but there is a carob layer. And there are some jellies or some cherries on it. So all these temptations which are in the Vishaya, they excite him more. So that becomes Uddipan for him. And the Anubhavas is, he might say, wow, wow. And here in this picture, there is the Sanchari Bhava. Who will answer? What is the Sanchari Bhava expressed by this child here? Yes, Virendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Oh, he's holding his ear in so much keenness and eagerness to eat.
He's raised his hands and jumping now, seeing the biscuits. So Anubhavas, he might say, wow, he's expressing, wow, that is the expression of love for the biscuits. And raising his hands up and jumping in ecstasy is, the Sanchari Bhavas or the transient emotions. So this is how we should see the whole science of rasa. Attachment to the sweet rasa, the biscuits here is Tahi Bhav. The Vibhav Alamban, Vishay is the sweet biscuits. The Vibhav Alamban, Ashra is the tongue. The temptations in the Vishay, Uddipan, hot, crispy, cream, smell, all these are Uddipans. Anubha is a voluntary action from heightened affection for the seed, hands raised. Feelings of joy is called as Sanchari Bhav, that nourish attachment. So there is joy and raising of hands and all this. Okay, so you understood now the Swargiya Rasa or Parthiv Rasa. Let's come to the mental Rasa. A simple example is of the mother and child relationship. The child's beautiful face, for example, can heighten her motherly affection. The child's face corresponds to the Bhav. So the Vishay is the child, and the child's beautiful face, when she sees her motherly affection, immediately comes out. Anubhav is the action that results from the heightened affection for the child. Perhaps she will embrace her child. This corresponds to Anubhav. Seeing the child, she embraces and kisses him or her. So that is Anubhav. Satvik Bhav is the involuntary reaction that results from heightened affection from the child. Maybe her hair stand on end. Vyabhichari Bhav is the emotional experience that results from intensified affection for the child. So the child is playing and suddenly he goes out and from the steps he falls and the mother comes rushing, what happened to my child? And suddenly she'll carry the child and, see whether he's hurt and embrace the child, and her affection is intensified because of this incident. So that is called as Vyabhichari Bhav. I heard a true story of a child who was playing near the river, and suddenly a crocodile caught this child in the jaws. And the mother, when she saw, because of her deep affection for the child, she, out of her rage and anger, she just rushed towards the crocodile, caught hold of the crocodile, pulled the jaws, and got the child out. Where did he get so much strength? Because she had intensified affection for the child, and that gave her certain kind of a spiritual energy. It's a material energy in one sense, but it was, because of that intense affection. So this emotions are very, very strong. We have to understand. And karma is very, very strong. And that's why prema is also very strong. So that's why that is called as the Sanchari Bhav. This is about the mental rasa. Now let's come to spiritual rasa. The spiritual rasa. Vibhav is that which stimulates one's eternal affection for Krishna. Anubhav is the action that results from heightened affection for Krishna. That which follows after Vibhav is Anubhav. It's called as subsequent emotion. Sattvic Vibhav is involuntary reaction that results from heightened affection for Krishna, the Ashta Sattvic Vikars. And Vyabhichari Bhav is the emotional experience that results from intensified affection for Krishna. Like when Mother Yashoda saw Krishna enwrapped in the deadly coils of Alya, her affection got intensified. Stahi Bhav is one's eternal mood of affection for Krishna. Shant, Das, Satya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. And especially it is Dasya, Satya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, which Mahaprabhu has come, and the highest is Madhurya. So this is regarding spiritual rasa. Now, in this picture, tell us what is the Stahi Bhav here. Who will answer? Stahi Bhav. Those who have not still participated, I would like to. Janardhan Prabhuji, Jagdish Prabhuji, what is the Stahi Bhav here? What is the Stahi Bhav in between Mother Yashoda and Krishna? Which
That is relationship that
which relationship they are related to? Sakya, Dasya, Vatsalya, Madhurya.
what Vatsalya
Vatsalya.
that motherly affection.
That is Vatsalya.
Hmm.
Yes, Vatsalya. Okay, that is the Stahi Bhav. Okay, which is the Alamban, Vishay Alamban here? Vishay Alamban here. Now we have to see in relationship with Mother Yashoda only and Krishna. In relation to Mother Yashoda, which is the Vishay Alamban? Subrat Prabhuji, which is the Vishay Alamban? Response. Satyavrat Chaitanya Prabhuji.
The beauty of face. I mean,
no, who is the object of affection? Who is the object? Vishaya. Vishaya means object. There has to be love, no, there has to be two. Subject and object. For Mother Yashoda,
object is Krishna's son, mother's affection towards son.
Yeah, but object is Krishna.
Yeah.
He is the Vishaya Alamban. Who is the Ashraya Alamban?
Ashra is mother.
Mother.
Yashoda.
Yes, very clear. Now, in this picture, tell us what is the Anubhava? Where is the emotion of love expressed? Anubhava. Where is the Anubhava here? Anubhava. Meenakshi Mataji. Anubhavas. Where are the Anubhavas? Anyone else? Dev Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, that hands to meet.
Yeah, the opening of the arms to embrace.
Yes.
And both ways it is happening. Krishna is also expressing his Anubhavas. Okay. Now the Sanchari Bhavs are not here in the picture, but I will present them. So Vatsalya Ras is the Sahi Bhav. The Vibhav Alaman Vishay is Krishna. The Vibhav Alaman Ashray is Mother Yashoda. And temptations in the Vishaya are called Udipan, the sunset, Godhuli, before Krishna is coming, these act like temptations and they are like Udipan. They are all related to Krishna. And it can be, for the gopis, it is the, flute and the peacock feather which he's wearing, all that, the Vaijanti Mala, that will excite them. So all that, can be temptations within the subject or related to the subject. Please understand. Anubhav is a voluntary action from heightened affection for the object of love. Here you can see that is opening of the arms. Feelings such as joy are called Sanchari Bhav, that nourish attachment. So the feelings like the heightened feelings which might have, here it is not there in this picture. Okay, now Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives some analysis that the Swargiya Rasa, the mental Rasa, and its inferiority to Vaikuntha Rasa. Swargiya Rasa is broader and more magnanimous than Parthiva Rasa because its subject is more subtle than matter. It is at a mental platform, so it is more broader. That's what this is. As Swargiya Rasa is broader and magnanimous than Parthiva Rasa, in the same way, Vaikuntha Rasa is unlimitedly broader and more magnanimous than Swargiya Rasa. So in comparison to the mental Rasa, the Vaikuntha Rasa is unlimitedly broader and magnanimous. In Parthiva Rasa, there is only one relationship, the relationship between the enjoyer and what is enjoyed. In Swargiya Rasa, there are 4 relationships. Das, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. So in this world also we know, husband, wife, it is Madhurya. 2 friends, it is Sakya. Master and servant, Dasya. And mother and son, it is Vatsalya. But in Swargiya Rasa, the object of Rasa is improper and unworthy. That is why Swargiya Rasa is not eternal. Because the object itself is not eternal. It is the body or the mind. It is not the soul. In Vaikuntha Rasa, there are 5 types of relations: Shan, Das, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Vaikuntha Rasa is eternal. Swargiya Rasa is imperfect because the ingredients are all temporary. Therefore, it is short-lived and the source of embarrassment and insignificant fruits. Yahi samsparsha javoga dukkayo evate adhyantavante kaunteha na teshu ramate da. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu takes us from the ocean, material ocean, to the spiritual ocean. So here is the material ocean, the Bhavasagar of birth, death, old age, disease. And the jivas are the marginal energies, the jnanis who get liberated from this material ocean. They just come and sit on the bank here. And now they don't have a gross body nor a subtle body. There is no more birth, death, old age, disease. They just situated on the transcendental platform. They just situated on the bank. But there is another ocean of Bhakti Ras, where there is a spiritual body and spiritual rasa is there, which goes deeper and deeper and deeper of the spiritual happiness. Here it is just happiness in terms of negation of being free from the cycle of birth and death. So this is about the overview of the science of rasa. And definitely we are going to start this southern division on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where we'll be discussing more in detail about rasa. So any questions on this before we now continue with Maharaj explanation on, I introduced this concept of rasa because without that, what Maharaj is saying, we'll not understand. Yes, Virendra Yadav Guruji.
Prabhu, if you can just elaborate exactly difference between the Satvika Bhava and Vyabhichari Bhava.
Satviki Bhavas are emotions which are involuntary. Please understand, I'll go back to this picture. Now here the Anubhava is what? That Mother Yashoda has love for Krishna. That love she is voluntarily expressing by opening her arms. That is because the affection is there. That love is expressed by opening of the arms. So this voluntary action is Anubhava. And the Satviki bhavas are involuntary. Because of that love, which is there in the soul, it manifests in the body in the form of hair standing on end. Mother Yashoda doesn't say when she opens her arms, there is an intelligence there where you're using the intelligence. But again, it is spiritual intelligence. But she doesn't say hairs, please stand on end. No. They involuntarily happen because of the heightened affection. That is the Satviki bhavas. And the Sanchari bhavas they are intensified, affection due to certain situations. Just like Mother sees Krishna in the coils of Kalia, her affection heightens now. Just like the wave in the ocean goes to a very height, but again it falls back in the ocean. So similarly, the love goes to a height, and that Vatsalya ras becomes more deeper now for Krishna. So these are transient emotions which come in the ocean of Bhakti ras and embellish the Sahi Bhav. I hope it is clear. Yes. Okay, now let's continue with Maharaj discussion. We did the discussion on concept of fundamental concepts of Bhava and Rasa. Bhava is the emotion that a person experiences, such as an actor, a poet, or a writer. Now, when Maharaj is saying this, there are three types of rasa: worldly, which is called as Parthiv rasa, then Swargiya, mental rasa, and then there is spiritual rasa, Vaikuntha rasa. When Maharaj is saying this, which is among the three, which rasa Maharaj is speaking about, whether it is Parthiv rasa, Swargiya rasa, or Vaikuntha rasa, whether it is worldly rasa, heavenly rasa, or spiritual rasa. Who will answer based on our discussion? I hope everyone should be clear about it now. Which rasa is Maharaj actually explaining? Krishnapad Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Guruji, I was not able to get the question.
When Maharaj is saying bhava is the emotion that a person experiences, such as an actor, a poet, or a writer. So there is worldly rasa with respect to senses and sense objects. Then there is the mental rasa, or called the Swargiya rasa, and then there is the Vaikuntha rasa, the spiritual rasa. So which among the three is this rasa? A poet.
This is mental rasa.
Mental rasa, yes, very good. The actor who is expressing the emotion on the stage, or the writer who is expressing it in the words of his poems, is expressing bhava, is expressing emotions. This bhava can be expressed even by gesture. So there are certain mudras, if you know, especially, you can just make this one mudra like this. I don't know whether you're able to see. And just, calling out like this, and you'll be attracted. Worldly rasa is the result of transformation of worldly bhav. Bhav is what is expressed. Now these, now you can understand there are different bhavas. So Maharaj is speaking about the worldly rasa. A writer, a poet, or actor reflects or represents their emotions. Someone has experienced some feeling, and I, as the reader or the observer, feel the same, but as a reflection. So whatever he is experiencing emotions, I can also experience, but just a reflection of that. This reflected feeling that has no relation to myself. This is a reflected feeling. It has no relation to myself. I have not been in that situation yet. I still feel this emotion. The aesthetic sense of perception of another emotion is called rasa. Simple thing, somebody is, a beggar, when he's really from the heart, he's crying out, begging, the karuna ras, that emotion is, you can feel it, and it gets reflected in your heart. and you feel compassion and you might give something. So it is a sense of perception of others' emotion. This is also rasa. This is karuna rasa. It is very important for us to understand these two terms so that we are able to comprehend in what ways spiritual bhava and spiritual rasa correlate with each other. So the correlation between bhava and rasa we have already seen now. So I hope it is clear. Material rasa is a product of transformation or purification of another person's bhava. Someone is experiencing some emotion or feeling, and we also might felt them in a more coarse state. So especially when we meet pure devotees, they are experiencing spiritual emotions in relationship to Krishna, and a reflection of it we might experience in our heart, and that might give us certain kind of ecstasy. Or hairs might stand on end, or in the kirtan, or by taking darshan, tears might come out from our eyes. So these are the emotions which we are experiencing. So what these emotions are, Rup Goswami is analyzing each and every emotion, and it's a whole science. So we might not be able to understand what really we are experiencing, but with Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we can understand all this. Those who have listened to the Beatles were going crazy because of what was going on in their hearts. The Beatles themselves were not going crazy. They just expressed some feelings in their songs. The hairs of those who heard them were standing on end. Tears were streaming from their eyes. And they were rolling on the floor. They were experiencing Ashtasattvic Vikaras. These are material songs. The fans were dying to go and tear their idols to shreds for souvenirs because they were able to awaken in their hearts feelings that no one else could awaken. This was happening in mundane rasa. This is how worldly rasa functions and how powerful it is. So Maharaj is speaking about Parthiva rasa. People are mad after sense enjoyment. So all the sense enjoyment with respect to food or with respect to sound, material sound, people are mad after material songs. It's all worldly rasa. In Vedic culture, beginning from Bharat Muni, this theory of rasas was developed. Now, actually, Bharat Muni is the Natya Shastra was given to Bharat Muni. It was what actually the Devatas went to Indra and he told how all our senses can be, fully engaged. And Brahmaji revealed the Natya Shastra, and this came down on earth, Bharat Muni. Bharat Muni, what he wrote as Natya Shastra. That is in drama. So in drama, actually, the best way to experience spiritual, emotions is through spiritual dramas. That's why dramas are very important, because when you're seeing the dramas, the Ramayana or the Mahabharata, you can be so much absorbed in it and you can experience all the emotions. In Orissa, there was a group which used to enact dramas on the Ramayana and other Leelas. So there once a Narsimha Leela was being performed, and the actor who was Hiranyakashipu, and there was Narsimha Dev. The Narsimha Dev, actually, when you're acting, you have to go in that mood to actually be like you are like Narsimha Dev. So he was in the mood of Narsimha Dev because his full consciousness was absorbed in it. And there was another actor who was acting as Hiranyakashipu. So he actually took him on his lap, and the way he was in anger, he was expressing that anger. He actually was on this lap. He actually killed him. He actually killed him. And on the stage, this happened, and this person died. And later on, there was a huge commotion there in the stage. The police came, they got arrested this person who acted as Narsim Dev. And then he was behind the bars, and then he was convicted and he was tried in the court. And when the trial was going on, he expressed to the judge actually what happened, that he was in the Avirbhav of Narsingh Dev, and he did not realize that actually this is what happened, that I actually, injured him and killed him there because of those emotions. And the judge could understand the heart, and he was released, although he had killed. This is a true story, just happened few years back. And then he came back, and the drama team took him again back in the dramas. And this time they were enacting the Ram Leela. And while he had taken the role of Dashrath, and the pastime was when Kaikeyi banishes Ram to Vanvas. And this, this person who was acting like Dashrath, he was going through the emotion of separation from Lord Ram, and he was lamenting, just like what was Dashrath doing, And just like, Dashrath, out of separation from Ram, left the world, on the stage, when Ram, Lakshman, and Sita were going, he felt such separation that this actor who was acting as Dashrath left his body and he died. So this is what emotions even can create in the audience. And one of my friend devotee who was from South India in Udupi, he was telling in his childhood, every day they used to enact dramas, and the Draupadi Vastraharan drama went on for 7 days. The whole drama, there Draupadi is addressing Dhritarashtra, she's addressing Bhishma, So every day, night in the evening, the villagers used to come and see this drama. And such was the emotional expressions which was happening between the actors. Draupadi is saying, Dhritarashtra, why don't you do something? And the audience who are watching, they're so much caught in these feelings of emotion, what is happening in the stage, that they used to get up. Oh, Dhritarashtra, do something to protect Draupadi. Or sometimes in the dramas, you see a horror scene. There is horror scene enacted, and you also experience the fear of emotions. So this is what Bharat Muni in his Natya Shastras gave. So all these emotions, what you experience in the drama, those who are seeing and those who are absorbed in those emotions, those who are acting, this is Natya Shastra. I just gave you a hint. Vedic philosophers possessed an amazing, unique ability to classify every possible condition. All these different emotions you can express. Vedic literature and culture describe how feelings arise even on the mundane level, what they consist of, what is the stimulus of emotion is, and how all this takes place so that this emotion can be reproduced. So every emotion what you go through, Sanskrit is such a language that you can express it. You can actually express it in words. No other language you can express it. The science of rasa is Rupa Goswami's contribution. It is Rupa Goswami who has contributed to the science of rasa. So Rupa Goswami took this rasa of the Natya Shastras, that's these emotions what we experience in Natya Shastras, actually there is this emotions in relation to the soul and the supreme soul, and that he has expressed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He has described, demonstrated, and explained that Bhakti should turn into a sublime spiritual emotion of love for Krishna, not just service to Krishna. Bhakti should be done with bhav for Krishna. Seva is there. Initially, we have to do sadhana bhakti. And then when bhava bhakti is done, when we come to bhava bhakti, then we do seva with bhav. At the first level, we serve Krishna using our senses, sadhana bhakti. We are trying to serve the Lord of the senses using our own senses in order for them to be purified. So when they are purified, at a higher level, we serve not with our senses, but with our emotions. So their senses are engaged, but out of love. There is deep love from the heart. When you go to a shopkeeper and you buy, he gives you those ingredients, but it is an exchange where there is money. But when a spiritual master come to your house, those same ingredients you have bought and you have cooked. When you're offering that, you're serving him. That serving is not, out of any material remuneration, but it is done out of devotion and love. So those actions are done out of love. So we have to come to this platform. In fact, what is embodied in Srimad Bhagavatam is the picture of the spiritual world, which cannot be found anywhere else. So I was explaining that if you want to understand the Srimad Bhagavatam, you have to see through the lens of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, from the science of rasa. And then you can understand what really is happening in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If someone tries to draw some image, it will be the picture of perceptions or states. Suppose we are shown advertisements of the spiritual world, it would still be a picture of perception. Yes, it is a beautiful sight that you can keep looking at for 40 years. But there is something lacking. There is something lacking. It is a static image where a person is described as a kind of a motionless being who is staring at that sight and enjoying it. But the inner experience is missing. I'll just give you a hint what Maharaj is trying to say. You are seeing a kirtan. Devotees are dancing in front of the deities and you're just observing them. So just observing them will not give you any rasa. The real rasa will be when you will go and join that kirtan and you will start dancing. Then you are seeing that they are experiencing certain emotions. But still, you are not participating in it. So Srimad Bhagavatam, when you study it from the science of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you will be absorbed in that leelas. You will be able to participate in that leelas. You will be able to absorb, this is the emotions what Sudhama and Sridhama are experiencing. These are the emotions which the gopis are experiencing. I want to experience that. So that inner experience will be missing. That's what Maharaj is saying. Srimad Bhagavatam's descriptions of the spiritual world are unique and not found in any scripture. Srimad Bhagavatam describes a dynamic account of the constantly expanding love experienced by the Bhakta and the Bhagavan, and the reciprocation of that love. So this is what is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is simply just the loving reciprocations which happen with the Lord and his devotees. This love swelling in the heart of the Bhakta is reflected in the heart of Lord God. And because of the happiness that he feels from his Bhakta's love, it starts to be reflected in the heart of the devotee and becomes even greater. So Bhagavan sees that how the Lord has love for him, and the Lord is feeling now love for his devotee. The Bhakta sees that how the Lord has love for me, and in his heart, he starts feeling love for the Lord. And this goes on ever expanding, ever expanding. It is an autocatalytic reaction that takes place between them, the reaction of love. I'll just take this last paragraph because it is about Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the picture that Srimad Bhagavatam describes, and there is no question of time whatsoever, because when it is experienced, time is unnoticed. So please remember, if in your japa, you have a time that I will chant 2 hours or I'll chant 10 minutes or half an hour, if you're putting time, that means you're not experiencing rasa with respect to Radha and Krishna in your japa. Because if you're experiencing rasa, then when you finish your 16 rounds, 2 hours is over. Oh, I thought it is just few minutes. You'll feel like that. So just a hint I'm giving. When someone says he can look at the same picture for 40 years, it means that he's aware that time is passing by. One thing that distinguishes rasa spiritual rasa, from worldly rasa, is that there is no question of time. There's no question of time. I hope it's clear. Any questions or clarifications? In 1 second. Yes, Lakshmi Narasimhan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
It was a wonderful session. So it's regarding the time, the last slide that we spoke about. We spoke like you said, like suppose if they are chanting, they won't realize that the time has passed by. And Maharaj is also mentioning like in spiritual rasa, there would be no concept of time. But sometimes even we have heard in this material world itself when people speak like, so I was with my group of friends, I did not realize how time passed by. Like, you know, I was with them for.
Yeah, see, the way the time works is there is goodness, passion, and ignorance because of the mode's influence. So time is relative here, and when you're with your friends enjoying, time passes by and you don't realize. And when you're in misery, even few minutes you feel time is not passing by. Why is not time passing by? Although time is passing, but because your consciousness is caught in that, you feel that time is not passing by. And when you're in the mode of goodness or you're in experiencing some material happiness, time is passing by, but again you don't realize, oh, I thought it's just few minutes, but hours have passed. So there is a relativity, but time beyond the three modes, that is the soul is transcendental, and the soul experiencing the rasa with the spiritual soul, there is there is a different experience. That's a completely transcendental experience. But these are material experiences. Time relativity there. But what Maharaj is saying is on the transcendental platform, you can experience. Once I heard from one disciple, it is recorded also, that one of the sannyasis was sitting in New Vrindavan temple in the evening at around 8 o'clock and chanting before Prabhupada. And he had his night service of putting the deities to rest. So when he put the deities to rest, it was 9:30, and he saw that the sannyasi was sitting still in front of Prabhupada and chanting. So he offed all the lights and left one light below Prabhupada on, and he went to sleep because next day morning he had altar seva. He had to get up early. So he went and then he slept, and in between there was the nature call at night 12 o'clock. So he got up and answered the nature call, and then he just peeked in the temple hall, and he saw that the light was still on, and he saw Maharaj was chanting. And then, he just went back, slept, got up 3:30. And when he came to the temple hall, he saw that Maharaj was still chanting. Then he had to tell Maharaj, devotees will come for Mangalarti, we have to clean the temple hall. And then Maharaj just came out from his chanting. The clock was right in front of him, just above Prabhupada altar. And he did not realize, he did not see, the time had passed, because he was so much absorbed in chanting. So when you, have the time calculation, time has passed, that means you're still within the modes. But, sometimes, there are, devotees who have transcended time and they can enter into a different realm and they don't realize that how time has passed because they're relishing spiritual rasa. So this is how it happens. That's what Maharaj is saying. I hope it's clear.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so we will continue our discussion as to why we should, Swarupam Sri Rupam Tasyagrajam api, because they gave us the rasa which we can experience. And that's why Raghunath Das Goswami is saying. So we'll continue this discussion tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai, Shri Manah Shiksha ki jai. Hare Krishna.